Okay. So can I start?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah, again, good afternoon, sorry. Good evening, everyone. So welcome to class today. Can you guys hear me?
You can. Yes, I can
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah,
You
we
guys
Yeah.
can
can
hear
hear?
you.
Okay, great, great, great. So this class is, we're talking on
Please
graphic
go
design.
on.
Okay, great. So please, I'll just advise that everybody should just mute their mic so that it's going to be convenient for us in this class. Okay? So basically, this class is to cover graphic design. Now, I'm sure a lot of us have heard about graphic design. We've seen designs everywhere. A lot of us have been wondering, you saw this kind of design somewhere and you try to wonder, okay, how did this person do it? How can I learn it? How can I make money from it? It's a very big business. It's a very profitable business. Graphic design is something that every year the market for graphic design pulls in up to $800 million worldwide. And let's convert that to naira. That's a lot of money anyway. So we're going to cover graphic design, and I divided this class into 18 parts. So I'm hosting the class for today and for tomorrow. So the first lesson we're going to have is, I would love you guys to write it down. I can even type it in the chat box. So let me just do that. So the first lesson is going to be Intro to Design, followed by Getting Photoshop, because we want to ensure that you are a professional designer and you're just not using any random software. You want to be able to create the best designs. Then features of Photoshop, and then branding and identity, then color, then fonts, then layouts and composition. That's seven. That's seven now.
Sorry.
Then yes. Can you see the chat box? Followed by
Yes,
image.
we can.
Okay, followed by images. Then we'll talk about import and rasterization. Import and rasterization. Okay. So this is what we're going to cover today. So in the next class, we're going to cover the rest. This is just basically to put you through on what you need to be a graphic designer and how you can benefit from it. So let me just, normally I like sharing my face so that people know me. I don't know if you can see my face. So, okay, this is me. My name is Toesha Ajayi. People call me Vlad, the creator. I have so many names. So I've been designing for up to 8 years. I think this is going to be my 9th year that I've been a graphic designer. So I've been designing since I was 14. And I can tell you that it's been one of the best things that has happened to me. So let's begin. Let me just know if you can see my screen, please. Please, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can
So
see.
let's start. So let's start. Okay, great. Let's start. So the first thing we want to ask is introduction to design. The first question that comes to your mind is, what is design? Now, normally, design basically is an art and an act. It's an art in the sense of ART, and it's an act in the sense of creating something from your imagination. It's you going out of your way and saying, okay, let me combine many elements together. Let me combine this together. Let me combine this together to create a final artwork. That's basically what design is. Then it's also an art in the sense the process you take to create a design. And let me show you something. I've already opened up my Photoshop. I've already been working on something. You guys can still see my screen, yeah?
Yes.
Right? Okay, great. So this, for example, like what I have here, what I wanted to create was, okay, top 5 lifesaver apps. Now, I already have the idea in my head. I already know what I want to do. So I'm in the art process. So I decided, okay, let me add some few elements together. I put in a background. I put in a text, I add an effect to the text, I add a circle, and all that to finally create this final design that exists here. So designing is just a process. It's a process that you have to go through to understand really what you want to do. So that's basically all about the introduction to design. Now, for we designers, I know that there are some of you that are familiar with this tool, Canva. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Canva is a great tool, but in a way to be on the standard of the graphic designs that companies require from you, you need to be able to use the top softwares. And one of the best software for creating designs is Photoshop. And trust me, when you start using design, you can actually earn a lot of money. You can get offers from foreign clients. Let me show you an example. Let me see if I can. Okay, is there where I can minimize this aspect? Okay. So let me just open up my email. Let me show you an email. Okay. So I'm just show you a mail, a sample of how big graphic design can be for you. Okay. Sorry, the network is quite bad. So let me just see if I can even find the mail. Okay, I think the network is quite bad. Okay, but nevertheless, let's keep. Okay, great. So this is like an offer I got from someone, a company in Germany. Nigeria is an abroad country. So they saw my designs and they liked it, and they said, okay, let's have a meeting by June to explain what they do. Now, this is an offer from a foreign company, not even a Nigerian company. So this is basically earning dollars. You just need to remember the key principles: learn design, practice, and develop. Because I have been designing for 8 years. But the good thing is, you as a designer, you can learn what I've learned for 8 years. You can learn and perfect it in 1 year. That's a good thing with the number of resources and technology that we have. So let's move on to the next lesson, which is getting Photoshop. Now, the site where you can get the Photoshop is get into, sorry, I have to try to move this thing, is get into PC.com. Wrong site. Sorry. Get into PC.com. Okay, great. So get into PC is like more like a creative hack whereby you can get any software for a cracked version. Now, what do we mean by crack? Normally, you know that most software, sometimes you have to pay for it, and then you're not paying in naira, you're paying in dollars, and sometimes it's more expensive for us over here because, I mean, $1 is 650 naira, a pound goes for 750 thereabouts, basically black market. So this is a site where you can actually get the Photoshop. So it's going to load, but nevertheless, I'll type it on the chat box. I'll type it on the chat box here. Let's go to pc.com. Get into pc.com. Okay. So basically, once you go to the site, get into pc.com, all you need to do is search for
So,
Sorry, can we please mute our mics, please? Can we please mute our mics, please? Okay, great. So all you need to do when you get into pc.com, just search for Adobe Photoshop Shop 2022, and it's actually going to show you, and it's actually going to take you to the software to download. So all you just need to do is to download the tutorial video, and someone writing on the screen. Okay, this is weird. Okay, so that's just basically all you need to do. Go to getintopc.com, search for Adobe Photoshop 2022, then download it. Also download the tutorial video, which is going to show you how to download it. Now, this is only available for PC users, in the sense that those that are not using MacBook, because sometimes there's iPhone and then there are others, but this won't work for Apple users. So I'll see if I can get the link for Apple users. So we've been able to cover getting Photoshop. Now let's move into the system. Basically, minus this. Use our mics, please. There's someone with there with background noise, please. I don't know if it's possible for the host to actually mute the other people there, please. Okay, someone is asking a question if it's useful for mobile application. No, it's only going to work on your laptop, because if you are going to be a professional designer, you need to use a laptop. You can't be using phone to design like this. Trust me, it's not possible. It's absolutely is not possible. Okay. So features of Photoshop. So I'm going to start by creating a new template, basically starting from the beginning. A way to okay. So on the first, sorry, there's still somebody with background noise. There's actually somebody with background noise, please. I can actually hear the echo from someone. Please, can we everybody just mute your mics, please?
come on, get up on there. What I do?
Inanji, Chisara, please just mute your mic. Admin.
Then you can unmute yourself, please.
Admin, please, is it possible you can mute everyone?
Yes, I'm doing that right now.
Thank you. Okay, great.
Just unmute yourself now, okay?
So as I was saying, one of the major features we have is that Photoshop allows you to do a lot of things. So you can create custom templates here. So let's, for example, I want to create a new design. I can set up my width. So 1080 by 1080. Then I put it in pixels. In pixels, which is actually the normal format I always use. You can choose millimeters, but then you need to note that if you're going to use millimeters or another format, you need to have the exact calculation. So it's just best to stay safe to pixels. Then set your resolution for around that 500 to 700, but I like to use 700. Then RGB, background, whites, and that's all. So I'm creating a new template. So
excuse me.
Now in this Jesus Christ. Okay.
If anyone has
so now in this,
excuse me, sir.
Oh God. Can it just mute? I'll take questions later. Please just mute the mic.
I just want to inform them. Anyone who have questions should drop it in the chat box. The class time is limited. We cannot be taking questions from everyone. We have over 260 people online. Okay, so people should drop their question in the chat box. Okay, we cannot take questions because we have limited time. Thank you. I will meet all of them now.
Okay, that's great. All right, so moving on, Photoshop has many features that allow you to do a lot of things. For example, you have your move tool, you have your rectangular marquee tool, you have your lasso tool, you have your quick selection tool. This basically allows you to create selections from images. So let me just try to put an image here. Let's see. Okay. See. Okay, let's try something. Let's see. Okay, let's go to images. Let's try this. Okay, great. So this works. So we have the move tool. This basically just allows me to move the image here. I have the rectangular marquee tool or the marquee tool, which allows me to make selections and make cuts of images. I also have the lasso tool to make selections as well, but it's more like a free-form selection tool. Sorry, the quick selection tool. So let me just rasterize this. Okay, sorry. It's okay if I did that. Okay, great. So I have the quick selection tool. Now, this is one of the best selection tools out there. So all I just need to do is select it and press select subject. Then it automatically selects the area of the subject that needs to be selected. Right here. So I can just decide to, okay, select inverse, then delete. Then it basically just gives me only the image I need, excluding the background. So you have so many other tools that you can use as well as slice tool. There's an eyedropper tool to select colors. There's a spot healing tool to, let's say, this is basically what photographers use. For those of you that do photo shoots, sometimes you notice that when you see the image raw edited, you may have pimples on your face. So sometimes the photographer just uses spot healing to kind of make the face look smooth. Now you can see some of the pimples on his face are removing. Let me show you like exactly. So that's just to show you that it's actually working. So they just use it just to like edit people's images and all that. You also have the brush tool for painting, that for painting over an image and all that. And so many other features that you have on the system as well. And there are a lot of things you can do as well on the system. So what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm also going to share some video recording. I've already done some pre-recorded videos that's going to expand more on the features of Photoshop because we already have a limited time. So it's going to actually be impossible to go through all the features. But then I've gone to the basic ones. You have your type tool here, you have your pen tool, smudge, you also have your eclipse tool for drawing circles and shapes and all that. You can draw a rectangle, you can draw a circle, you can draw a triangle, you can draw a polygon, you can draw a line tool, you can draw custom shapes too. This will allow you to use various custom shapes that exist. And I have a lot of them, probably too many as well. So that covers our lesson on the features of Photoshop. So the next lesson we're going to be looking at is branding and identity. So I've done a pre-recording of that already. I've done a pre-recording of that. So I'm just going to play a video. So please just let me know if you can actually hear it. So I want to confirm, are you guys able to hear that? Please just let me know. I just need one person to respond.
Yes, yes.
Hello?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, great. Okay, great. So let me just skip to this part. Okay.
Oh, why can't you click and log in directly? Why do you it's a link here? Even let us know when you are talking and when you're not talking. Right now, there is no sound.
Oh, sorry, you guys can't hear anything.
Yeah, because we have not been talking. Or probably you are playing
No,
a video
no, it's
without
a
sound.
recording we are listening to.
The recording is not. The sound is mute. Check the recording and activate the sound.
Okay, so I was trying to ask if you guys could hear what is actually playing from the recording.
No,
No,
Okay.
no.
Let me know now.
still not. When you are, we can hear. We'll let you know.
Sorry, were you guys able to hear the recording?
No.
Even from the beginning?
Yes.
Okay, wait, hold on. Confirm if you can hear it now.
Sure.
Can you hear it now?
It's faint. You can increase the volume.
Hold on.
Avoid images
Can you hear it now?
context or appear frequently in other brands' designs.
You cannot see the screen.
Oh, you can't see the screen.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I think my connection went off. Okay, let me know now.
Feature on
Don't forge this thing.
people, places, and things.
Is it better now?
Visual identity isn't just a marketing tool. Looking at the of your brand, you know exactly what colors, fonts, and images to use. You can create consistent works that viewers will remember. Thanks for joining us for the basics of branding and identity. Check out the rest of our.
Okay, so please, I want to confirm, were you guys able to hear to that extent?
We heard the voices, but we couldn't understand it. It was not audible.
So it wasn't audible. Okay. I will share the recording with everyone.
Share the recording on the WhatsApp group so I can watch it many times.
Yes, I will do that. So, go back. So, sorry, hold on. Trying to get back to where we are. Okay. So basically, you guys can still hear me, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So sorry about that. I think it's probably the network from here. So basically, what that video was talking about is branding and identity. Now, I'm sure many of us, we know the Nike logo, yeah? I think everybody knows the Nike logo. Now,
Yes.
Yeah, so now I also ask a question. When you go out and you see that logo, without them writing Nike, you already know it belongs to Nike, yeah? That's because they've built it as their brand and they created an identity around it. Now, in order to be a designer, you need to have a color that is suited for yourself. Now, if you notice most times in my own pattern here, I work with the color blue and white because those are actually my own brand colors. Then I'm going to add the complementary color. I'm going to work with pink and orange. Now, there are so many ways you can decide to select color. You can work with colors that match together. For example, black and yellow, green and white. And there are so many other colors that go together. So it's always important that you know that, okay, a lighter color is going to go with a darker color, and a darker color is going to go with a lighter color. For example, let me know let me see if, okay. Let's say, for example, I change this color to, let's say, red. Let me say pink, like this. Now, this is actually not going to match because one, this is a light color, and this is also a light color. So if, let's say, for example, now, if this background, which is light, and I decide to change the text here, let's say I'm going to make it black. Sorry. Sorry. And let's go, that one work. And we start to make it black. We can see that it actually comes out. It actually pops out. That's because there is a light background. The text there is heavy, is dark. So it pops out. So the rule is simple. If you're going to use a background light color, you need to use a complementary color that is dark. If you're going to use a background dark color, you're going to use a complementary color that is light. So let me just revert that and up. So they also spoke on typography and fonts. Now, one thing about design is, no matter how good your design is, if your font is not suitable, it's going to clash. Now, let me show you what I mean by that. So this is the font. This is the font I have here, right? This font is basically Bebas. So let's say, for example, I decide to change the font to something else. For example, like Alio Sausage. Now, looking at this font, it doesn't pass the message I'm trying to pass across with this design I'm doing. It looks like a sausage as if I'm trying to sell food. So it's only if I'm going to use a food flyer that I'm going to use this. So the font matters because the font actually tells the emotion of what you are trying to sell. Now, what I'm trying to say is top 5 life-saving apps. So I need to let them know that it's a bold aspect. It's a very important aspect, and I'm trying to pass a sincere message. If I use this font, they'll think I'm joking with them. I'm not taking them serious. So it's always important you know the right kind of font to use. Now, I can't use this poppins because it doesn't pass across the message. But if I try to use a bold font that's heavy, for example, this, you can see how perfectly aligned it is. You can see how, okay, it draws your attention to and say, okay, top 5 lifesaver apps. Then it lets you know that you as a reader, okay, this is the information that it's trying to pass across. So that's the key thing about fonts. Now, one thing we also need to know about fonts is, I know somebody has told you this before, but in the world, there exists over 2 million fonts. Now, let me show you one headache that we designers go through when we are selecting fonts. Now, I need you to keep your eyes on this panel here. Sorry. Just keep your eye on this panel here. And just okay, I can't scroll through from here. Now, I'm not going to count, but then you can look at the number of fonts I have here. Now, me as a designer, I have to go through each and every font. And at the end of the day, I'm only picking 1 or 2 to use for a client. And the funniest thing is, every single font is useful in its own way. It all depends on the kind of design you are doing. So you can see there are a lot of fonts here that you as a designer, you're actually going to be using. I think I have over on here, I think I have over like 600,000. Then on my documents, on my own document, let me see. I still have some extra fonts here that I have not even installed. Let me see. Okay, yeah. I have some extra fonts here that I have not even installed. Look at them. There's still a lot of them here. So there's still even a lot of fonts that I have not yet even installed. And I still have I think over 1 million fonts on my system that I have not yet installed on the Photoshop itself. And even with the list that we have here, it's a lot of fonts that we have here. So it's your job as a designer to study the brief, know what the client wants, and use the appropriate fonts. For example, I can't use Harmony because Harmony is not going to work. So fonts pass this kind of information. They pass a message that without the fonts, without the proper fonts, nobody's going to get what you are saying. So next, we want to discuss images. Now, in design, images are very important. There's no design that doesn't have an image. Now, let me show you samples of what I mean. Hold on. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me show you one. This is an example of a design I did for a client. Sorry. Okay. So this is an example of a design I did for a client to celebrate World Beer Day. I know, don't worry, you're going to be able to do something like this, definitely. With practice and with all the resources, you're going to definitely be able to do something like this. Now, the message the brief the client gave to me was, okay, design a World Beer Day flyer. Now, the first thing that comes to my head is, the first thing that comes to your head as a designer is, okay, World Beer Day. What's the color of beer? Brown, right? Brown, yeah. What color goes with brown? Because brown is a dark color, you're going to have to use a light color. That's why you notice I use a lighter shade, a brown color as a background. Then I use a lighter shade of brown Then I use white. And I also had to get some images to signify beer because you can't have what beer day without beer. So I went online, got some images, edited them, put them together, got the idea in my head that, okay, this is what I want to do. And I decided, okay, let's be creative and add a mustache to indicate that, okay, men mostly drink beer. So it's more like, celebrating the events. Let me see if I have some more. Exactly. Okay, yeah. I have some more samples as well. These are examples of designs that you use images as well. You can see, okay, I'm trying to put the message there, hello there, let's talk about you today. And you're putting different people of different cultures and background. So many designs that exist with images, a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot of them. So I'm trying to look for one particular, okay? I'm trying to look for one particular design. Example, like this one. Now, one thing you need to know about design, designing is not hard. It all depends on how you interpret the information. So that's why you, as the designer, you always have to know what you want to do in the first place. Now, someone sends you a brief and say, do a Black History Month flyer for me. The first question that comes to your mind is not whether you're going to use color black, but it's whether what colors signify Black history. For example, when we talk about slavery and all that, we mostly refer to color red, which indicates the bloodshed, we call it color green, which indicates the hope, and yellow being the development. So I decided to inculcate those colors into the design and use different people indicating that different color. You can see I use someone here, and then I try to add something of red to his face. I don't know if you can, yeah, around here. I use the girl again for the yellow, because I can't just use all males for the design. It's not going to work like that. Then I start to use a guy for the green. So it all depends on the perspective you want to look at, and there are so many ways you can run up design. There are so many ways you can create designs. It all depends on your brief, and it depends on what you want to do and how creative you want to do it. So one thing I always do is before I start designing, I always draw out a sketch of what I want to design. For example, for this one here, she's a doctor and she's also a content creator on TikTok, like Instagram and all that. So I thought, okay, let's create a way to make her a fun content creator. So it just popped up in my head, okay, let's put her in the background and let's, use the banners to actually type out what she does. So here we have number one IG doctor, Dr. Joy, Instagram, then what she's talking about. Now, you as the reader, when you see the flyer in the first page, your mind goes, okay, wow, yeah, this looks nice. It gets your attention for 5 seconds. Then from there, you can read the other content and there's an hierarchy. You know that, okay, from here, you're reading from here, then you're moving here, then you're moving here. So that's just basically it's about design. It's easy, really. You just have to have an idea of what you want to do. And trust me, the craziest ideas in design are actually the best one. I know so many times that sometimes I sleep in the middle of the night and I actually wake up with a design idea, so I quickly sketch it. And at first, when I'm thinking about the design idea in my head, it sounds crazy. But when I put it out on paper, I actually realize that, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can actually do this design. So that covers images as well. So in every design, you have to use images. It's always important. Now, images are not just limited to pictures. They can be icons like the ones we have here. So one thing I'm going to do is I have a lot of design resources. I have a lot of design resources right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a drive link and I'm going to put these resources there for you and free of charge, totally free of charge. It's a benefit for you joining this class. Now it's a lot. I mean, the file is actually a lot. Let me check the properties. I know it's going to be, yep. This is going to even pass more than 15 gig thereabouts. It's already entering 8. Okay, that's 9, 10. So it's a lot of design resources, and trust me, you're not going to get design resources everywhere. Normally, if we're even going to get this thing on your own, you have to even use a lot of data. Some you have to buy. Some of the design resources actually bought them, but you're going to be getting them for free and be using them as well. So let's just cancel. It's actually going to, I think it's going to go up to 30. So I can always upload it in a drive link. That's not a problem. So next we have importing images and rasterizing. Okay, we've looked at layouts, and so let's look at importing images and rasterizing. Now, there are three ways you can bring in your images on Photoshop. The first way is by the drag and drop method, which is basically me just carrying a design. Then I drag it, then I hover it here, then I just drop. It's gonna load. Yeah. The second method is the normal process method, whereby you go to File, then you go to Import. Let's import. Okay, then go to Import. Sorry, no. It's supposed to be not import. Then you go to Place Embedded. Sorry, you go to Place Embedded. Then you now have to start searching for the documents. Let's see. Text, and you click Place. Okay, so it places the objects right there. So these are the two methods. Normally, I prefer the drag and drop because it's faster, but then you can still do the whole place embedded method, whichever one is suitable for you. Now, it's also important that whenever you drop an image on Photoshop, you have to rasterize it. Now, rasterizing means, let me type it here. Rasterizing means you are making the image editable. Means you are making the image editable. That's what it means. So I just come into my layer here, then I right click, then I go to rasterize layer. So once I've rasterized the layer, I can edit it. I can cut out of it. You can say I cut out of it, Ctrl Z, Ctrl D, select. Now, when it wasn't rasterized, before I could cut it. Now, if I try it, it's not going to work. Now, it's going to give me an error. Could not complete your request because the object is not directly editable. So once you rasterize it, you make it editable. That's basically what it does. Then you can edit as much as you want to do. You can add filters, you can add the gradient overlay. So stuff like that. Oh, I know why it's doing that. Sorry. Hold on. So it's doing that because we didn't. Now the thing is, because I inserted the image, so it's actually a whole image. So it's actually going to clip to the whole thing. So let's say, for example, I use my quick selection, select subjects. So select the inverse, then delete. So let's say I apply the gradient mask. I create a clipping mask. Then just do this. So you get, that's just it. So I just made it editable in such a way that I can apply filters to it. I can edit it as much as I want. I can apply so many things to it. That's the essence of rasterizing an image. So I'm just going to delete this. So, let's see what's next. Layout position, we looked at images. So next we have how to cut images and layer mask. Funny enough, I've taught you guys how to cut images, but I'm going to do it again. So let me bring this back. So now, let's say, for example, I want to create let me not use this. Let me use something else. Let me find something that suits the design. Okay. Models, shape collection, branding guides, design, installation, design resources, check design resources. Package. Font select markups. Stock images. Okay, stock images. Okay. Let's try something else. Okay. This is an image that's going to suit. Okay, let's use this. So I just use my drag and drop. Now, I mean, looking at it like this, if you just decided to put this image like this, bam, on it, and you start to send to client, it makes no sense because there's a background there. And for this type of design, you don't actually need the background. So what we're basically going to do is open up Control T and flip horizontal. Sorry. And remember, you have to make it editable by rasterizing. Now, the easiest way to cut out your image from the background is by using the quick selection tool. Now, normally you can decide to use the pen tool, this one right here, but it is stressful. Like it's very, very stressful in the sense that I have to actually zoom in and be pinpointing every point like this. I mean, nobody has time for this. Like nobody has time. Designers don't have time for that. Time is money. So what you can basically do is just use the quick selection tool, then select the subject. So it automatically selects the subject for you based on pixelation, and it filters where the subject exists. So let me see if I can. Let's just let's leave it like that. Let's manage it like this. This is just a raw design and everything. So we actually select it and then we press select. Then we can scale it up a bit. I know that this is not a perfect image to use because the person is smoking, so it's not really the best image, but I'm just trying to show you. So for example, so like this now. Now you can see that, okay, it's a lot better. Let me rescale, sorry. Now you can see that it's a lot better because I've removed the background, and then it creates a form of alignment whereby we can see the text and we can see the image it aligns to. Now, like I said, this is not the right image to use for this, but I'm just trying to show you the example of how you can actually cut out an image and the best method you can use, which is the quick selection tool. It's basically the best method. Imagine if I had to use the pen tool and I start having to do this, start going around, zooming in, doing each part of the hair. There's absolutely no time for that. Okay, so that's just basically it. So the last thing we have for today is layer and layer mask. Now, the way Photoshop works is with layers. Now, layers basically refer to, I'll call it blocks of design. Now, for example, on one block you have your fonts, on another block you have another font, on another block you have your background, on another block you have your arrow, your other elements. Now, let me show you what I mean. Let me just close up everything. Let me close up everything for you. So let's just start from here. So I'll create 5 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys can see my screen here, yeah? So for every layer you are doing, it basically means you are doing something new. Now, on this layer, I want to put in a text. That says design is great. Now you can see that it now belongs to this layer, layer 2, which has been changed to the text. Now if I hide the icon, it shows. If I don't, it shows. Now, this is for this layer. I go to layer 3. I want that layer to be a shape. So I select my shape. Then I put in a shape there. Now, what we've noticed is they are on 2 separate layers. Now, this is because we don't want a situation whereby if you are dragging this, we are also dragging this. That means you scatter your design. So design in grid is on its own layer. The rectangle, it's on its own layer. So which means I can move the rectangle separately, adjust it as much as I want, and then I can also move the design separately and move it as much as I want. Now, for example, someone is going to ask me the reason why this is on its own. Now, it's because I type a long text, top 5 lifesaver apps. I don't need this everything there in one layer. I don't need top 5 in one layer, lifesaver in one layer, apps in one layer. It's because this is an overall text. It's an encompassing text. It carries everything at once. But in a case whereby I write top 5 lifesaver apps, then I'm now writing, oh, you need to get these apps. All right. These apps are, so I've forgotten how to spell, Jesus Christ. These apps are great. Now, these are 2 different texts. Okay. Top 5 lifesaver apps. These apps are great. If I put 2 of them together, it's totally going to scatter my design because I may need to edit this one separately from this. So I know that I'm focusing on this on one layer. I am also focusing on this on another layer. That's basically how layers work. They are just the blocks of every single element you are putting on your design. And you can have as many layers as you want. Say, I can create many 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 25, 29, 30, a lot. I can create as many as I want. I don't think I've ever created this much layers before, but I'm just kidding. I've created more than that. So, let's see. I'm just that's okay, great. So another thing is, for example, grouping as well. Now you notice that this layer right here is a text. This layer also is a text. So I can decide to group these 2 together, name it text. Now note, because you are grouping does not mean you are merging the layers. You are just grouping elements of the same thing together. It's, for example, when you're in secondary school and they say boys on this line, then girls on this line. Now, inside boys, there are short boys, there are tall boys, there are ugly boys, there are fine boys, but in summary, you are all recognized as boys. There are girls, there are short girls, there are fine girls, there are girls on short skirt, there are girls on long skirt, there are girls with braided hair, there are girls with short hair, but then they still combine as girls. The same thing here. I can come up and group this layer as text. I can come up and group this layer as these 2 shapes here as a shape button or whatever name you want to give it. It's important to group because so that your design doesn't get scattered or you're not having too many layers on your design and layer panel. For example, imagine having up to 50 layers and then all these layers, they are all text layers. All you need to do is just, press shift, select all of them, then you can group and then rename it as text and rename it as header text. Now, this just helps to make your design more organized so that you can know where what is what. But for people like me, sometimes I won't lie, I get lazy to actually group them because but in my own head, I already know what each and every simple layer is. But for beginners, it's always best you try to group. Once you've mastered design, you can now play around with layers, scatter the layers as long as you know where everything is. That's the key. So layer mask. Now, layer mask is one of the most beautiful things out there. I'll show you why. Let me find a suitable image to use. Now, this is a perfect image. I think I like this one. Aha, she looks nice. Great. Okay. So I'm going to follow the process I've been doing before. Rasterize to make it editable. I can rename it and say image. Then I use my quick selection, select the subject. Okay. You don't need the earrings. Okay. Then select inverse, then delete. Okay. The image doesn't look as sharp as you want, but nevertheless. Let me try something. Sorry. There we go. So now the reason why I like this image because top 5 lifesaver apps and then she's using her phone. So here is how layer masks work. Now females in the house, most of you use face masks, not the face masks for coronavirus and all. They want like all these face masks like when you want to sleep to treat acne and all that. Now, what the layer mask literally does is that it acts as a cover for you to basically apply filters and remove part of the image that you don't need. Now, the first thing you need to do is select the image. Then you come to this icon right here. Then this is the add layer max icon. Great. Then you now come to this box that is here. You're going to see this box here. All you need to do is click on this white and black here to revert it. Now, white is going to reveal, while black is going to hide. Now, what this is going to do is, let me show you. Let's see. Okay. Yes, our gradient. Okay. Gradients, black and white. Okay. So what this is basically going to do is going to hide some parts of the images based on the filter I'm applying, the gradient I'm applying. Now, what happens when I just slide over it? Okay. I think I selected the wrong order. Let me see if it's this opacity. Okay, great. So what will happen is when I try to blow out some parts of the area? So I just drag over, and you can see that it fits the bottom part of the person. Now, the reason why layer mask is important is that it doesn't distort your design. For example, if I reverse this and I drag back, it's going to actually bring the image back from where it was. Now, remember, white hides, black reveals. If I use white, it's going to hide. If I bring it to black, it's going to come up. Yeah. Sorry. See. So back exactly. So let me try something else. Let's try using a brush for that. think this is going to work. Okay, so like I was saying, yeah. So white is actually going to bring back and black is going to reveal. So if I use black, it's going to clear out some areas. If I use white, it's going to bring it back. Now, what this does is it allows you to actually edit an image without distorting it. Now, look, for example, let me disable the layer mask. So imagine if I didn't put a layer mask and then I just do this. Now, what I have done is I've already added this effect to this image. Now I can't even go back. I can't edit it again. It's already a permanent mark. I can't reverse what has been done on this design. So I have to now start pressing Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Do you get it? I have to now start pressing Ctrl Z, which means I have to start going back, going back, going back. But then when you apply a layer mask, you can actually, the black height, you can actually cover some parts. And if you say that, oh, look at this, I kind of like cut off her head. Oh my gosh, she doesn't have a head now. All you do is you just press X, then paint back. And it basically brings your image back to where it was. Now, the layer mask is just a function of editing that just allows you to edit without distorting the image. That's basically what it does. Because as a designer, sometimes you might be working on a project and you might be feeling tired. So it's always best you apply a layer mask, even though you're going to apply so many effects to an image. So this brings us to the end of this first session. So in our next session, we're going to be looking at typography, resizing and cropping, blur effects, converting to smart objects, camera raw filter, how to save a file, and also we're going to be designing a flyer from scratch. So what I need you guys to do is let me know what type of flyer you'd want us to design in the next class.
Thank you so much. Is
Yeah.
that all for today?
Yeah, that's all for today. So the part 2 is going to continue tomorrow.
Okay, same time tomorrow.
Yeah, same time. So I'll be taking questions and answer. So let me see. Would there be slides? There'll be a recording. I'll also share the videos as well. I'll create a link and share some videos that are going to help you to understand better what has been discussed in the class. Which app am I using? I'm using Adobe Photoshop. Adobe Photoshop is a designing software that can basically allow you to create designs beyond your imagination. It can allow you to do a lot of things better than what Canva can do for you. So next question, not useful for mobile phones. Apparently it is not useful for mobile phones. Now, for mobile phones, if you want to use Canva, it's fine if you want to use Canva. But then, the thing with Canva is there might be limitations on what you can do. And then you may not have access to premium, but then I have a hack. I have access to a premium account for Canva, but then that one goes for a separate, it's actually not free. It actually goes for a price of 5,000 naira. So it's actually a premium lifetime access account to Canva. For those of you that feel that, okay, you actually want to be sticking to mobile designing, but I don't teach Canva because I have been using Photoshop for 8 years. So it's a design software I'm used to. So next question. Sorry. Okay. Getting Photoshop. So I've sent the link, which is www.getintopc.com. That is where you can get the crack version of Photoshop. So all you need to do is go to www.getintopc.com, type in Adobe Photoshop 2022, then just follow the instructions to download. You also need to download the tutorial video, which is going to help you install the software. It's important you download that video. And the software is only available for non-Apple users. I'll see if I can get a link for Apple users for you guys. It's like my color is different. I saw white, green, and yellow and red. There was no pink and blue. I don't know. The design for the beer is very beautiful. Wow, thank you. And that means a lot. Thank you for the added bonus. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving us. Yeah, I just came. Okay, yeah, recorded session. Yeah. So white and black. Now, what does white and black do? The white and black function works with your layer max. Now, black would review. Sorry, black would hide while white will review. So what you are basically working with layer max is just using it to hide and review various aspects of the image that you are working on. That's basically the function of the layer and layer max. Don't worry, I'm going to send videos. I already have pre-recorded videos on this, and I'm going to send them to you. Okay. Can we get a note on this lecture? Yeah, you get that. Business flyer, okay. Can I get a link for MacBook? I'll work on that. A complex flyer. What do you mean by complex flyer? A cover page design for a poetry ebook on love and relationships. Okay. Okay, love and so we have ebook, complex flyer, and then a business flyer. Okay. I think that basically works. So we have three. I have three selections to choose from. So please, do we have any other question? I will definitely get the video recordings. I'll get some videos for you guys, which is going to help you explain everything that has been taught as well. So is there anybody that has any other question, please? You can also raise up your hand, and I think the admin will unmute you. Hello?
Hi.
Yeah.
Currently, nobody's raising their hands, and I think we are good to go for tonight.
All right.
But can you come again on the link for downloading the cracked Photoshop?
Okay, great. Let me send it in the chat box.
Okay,
Okay,
better.
let me just even share my screen. Let me just even share my screen, please. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, let me do it again. This thing is to move. Okay, you move down. Okay, so let me do it again. Now the website is www.getintopc.com. Okay. So once you are here, all you need to do is come to the search, then search for what you are looking for. Adobe Photoshop 2022. Okay. So 1 month ago. So this is the one you are going to download here. This is the one you are going to download. So you just click on it. Now it's also important to know that it's a large file. So it's like 1.8 gig in size. So you need to kind of like have data to download it. That's just it. So all you need to do is scroll down.
Can you scroll back up and show us again?
Okay. So I've typed in the software. So I've clicked on it. So this is the page where it comes to. Can you see this part?
Yes.
So all you need to do is scroll down. This is just information about the software. Just scroll down. Now you can see wow. They've updated the software so much that there's even increased. So you can see 3.1 gig. That's actually a lot, but it's worth it. You just have to have data to download it.
3
I
GB
know.
is 1 month data.
But trust me, you know what I do? You know the plan I used to do? Sometimes when I buy, one plan I used to do is there's this Glow plan, 1547 gig. So I just do the 1547 gig for Glow. Or if you have a Wi-Fi or SpectraNet, you just basically do a unlimited night plan. That's
I will
what
go
I
to
basically
Facebook.
do.
I'll
No
go and use
problem.
Facebook Wi-Fi and download it.
That's fine. No problem. That's fine. So it's also important to know system requirements. Now, it requires at least 2 gig of RAM with at least a memory space of 3.5 gig. So if your system is at least Core i5, 8 gig RAM, you can use the Photoshop. But anything below 6 gig RAM is always best you upgrade your system because you don't want your system crashing when you're using this software. It's going to be bad for you. Okay? So if you want to check the properties of your system, just go to this PC on your, just go to, sorry, let me, just go to this PC, right click and check on properties. Sorry.
But I'm seeing
And
some
this,
reviews that are saying that this Photoshop does not work.
some reviews. No,
Mm.
they didn't install it very well. That's the funny thing. It's a cracked version, so you need to actually follow the instruction. That's why.
Okay.
There's so and then some of them you know have the specs that is required for it to run. For example, at least 8 gig RAM, Core i5 with good memory space. So all you need now to do is click on this download part, download here. Then you need to remember this password. The password is 123. You need to also write that down. So you are noting 3 things. You are downloading this part and remembering the password, and you're also going to download this how to install video. Now, this video is very important because it's going to show you how to install the software without errors. Now, there are definitely a lot of comments from people and all. So you can see one comment that is very important. First install Adobe, you must disable. These are a lot of things. So the install the software video is going to help you. It's going to help you on this. So that's basically it. I think I have some more questions. Someone said 3.1 gig. Don't worry, trust me. I can tell you that once you start using Photoshop, I'm going to send you guys a lot of resources, a lot of materials, links where you can learn further, improve your design, YouTube tutorials that you can even look at and all that. Because I remember when I started, my designs were terrible at first, but then I got better. So is it possible for me to download this? No, you cannot download it on your mobile phone. It's not a mobile version. So like I've also said, I have Canva Premium Access that is available. It's a lifetime access. If you want it, and it goes for 5,000 actually. So it's a lifetime access. For those of you that may not want to use Photoshop and you want to maybe stick to your Canva, if you are good at Canva, I have a Canva Premium Access that is available. It's a lifetime access. So you have access to all the premium versions. And also, I think in our next class, I'll also show you guys how to maximize Telegram and LinkedIn. That will be an added bonus. I'll show you guys how to maximize Telegram and LinkedIn as well. I will add that to my course list, how to maximize Telegram and LinkedIn. Because there are so many things you can do on LinkedIn that you don't actually know. You can get jobs on LinkedIn, you can get this offer I got here was because I was communicating with them on LinkedIn and I was showing them my designs on LinkedIn as well. So one thing about design is, see, carry your hustle on your head. I'm telling you, carry your hustle on your head. One principle I believe in life is, there's one thing I used to tell people. It may sound like a harsh statement, but it's true. And the statement is this: nobody is coming to save you if you cannot save yourself. Because I remember when I started, I know how much I spent taking classes on design. I spent over, I'll be honest, I think I spent over 850,000 naira taking design classes. Over 850,000 naira taking design classes. I've spent millions actually buying design equipment and design materials. But then it's worth it because you get offers like this with how good your design is. So you can even scale up better than me. You guys can you can even be better designers than me because what I know in 8 years combined, you guys are going to even know it in less than a year. So please, as a designer, carry your hustle on your head. Now, the good thing about design is some of you here, you're entrepreneurs. There are some of you that can be into food business. You sell things, you sell that. So if you are able to know design, that means you can be able to design your own flyers, your own banners yourself. You don't know how to pay a designer. You're not your own designer. For every seminar I hold, I design my own I design my own flyers myself. I don't have to pay anybody to design for me. I basically do it myself. Somebody has this. I'm seeing one other. Okay. If you want it, just let me know. Also, I'm also on Insta. Yeah, someone said they do their own designs on Canva. Great. Also, I am also on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at Tosh King, Tosh underscore. Yeah. If you want to see some of my works, if you want to connect with me on Instagram, you can just connect with me on Instagram. I'm a very free person. And if you have any other questions, you can send me a DM on Instagram as well. Someone said they do their own designs on Canva. That's great. I actually love to see some of your works on Canva. And that's Obiuku Patience. Yeah. So I think that brings an end to our class. So remember, if you want the Canva premium access, you can let me know. I'm also on Instagram at Touch King. If there's any other question you have, you can reach out to the coordinator of this seminar and you can just direct your questions to me. So thank you guys so much for attending this class. I'm very grateful for having me here. Really means a lot.
Thank you so much. We'll meet again tomorrow for
Yeah.
the second part of the class.
Yeah.
Please, the time is 7 o'clock. Let us come early. What happened today will not happen tomorrow. Thank you so
7
much,
p.m.,
guys.
yes.
All right, recordings
Thank
link
you
will be
so
sent
much,
to you
sir.
shortly on the group.
Very grateful.